But the book is Sweet Lou and the Cubs, A Year Inside the Dugout, the real story behind the building of the best Cubs team in decades. Now, your last Cubs book was Entangled in Ivy, so is this to say that Lou Piniella is literally straightening things out at Wrigley? How much credit does Lou deserve, or how much blame does he deserve?
He gets a lot of credit, Paxton, but he should also get some blame because I'm not sure if Lou totally understood the monumental task at hand. You're talking about a team that's never had a really good baseball organization, has never had a winning tradition, which the Yankees feed off of. I can recall Joe Girardi saying that when he played with the Yankees, you could feel that winning tradition out of every pore of old Yankee Stadium. Lou Piniella did revive the Cubs thanks to a unprecedented spending spree by Cubs general manager Jim Hendry, and he did bring some order to that lineup. But I think that Lou might delegate the job of preparing his team a little bit too much to his coaches and may not have his finger on the pulse of the team as much as you might like, and may not really know or like the idea of mental preparation of players. He always would say, well, just get the right players and, get the right matchups and send them out to play. But baseball's a mental game. It's a thinking man's game. That's why it's lost so many other players to the instinctive sport of basketball and the brutal physical sport of football. So I'm thinking that Lou Piniella at age 65 has some education to do. You never stop learning, and if you in any walk of life, be it radio, be it selling insurance, being at baseball, if you're static, you'll move backwards.
That blue-collar approach worked in Seattle. It did not work in Tampa, although some might say that Lou sort of planted the seeds for last year's Rays run. You think he's a temp here? You think he maybe has a few years left in him before he hands it over to someone like a Rothschild?
I don't think Rothschild will get the job. I would think that they're even considering Ryne Sandberg as a manager in training, although they won't say it. Sandberg managing the Tennessee team, the Double-A team that plays near Knoxville for the Cubs organization. But Lou is a short-term renter, not a buyer. You could see it, and I chronicle it in Sweet Lou and the Cubs. In his office, there's no decor in his office. Still the blank cinder block walls, very, very few books on his bookshelf, very few things on his desk, as opposed to Dusty Baker, who turned his office into a photo museum. Everybody there from Hank Aaron to John Lee Hooker on the wall with the CD apparatus set up on the wall. But Lou is a hired gun, and as such, he may bring a lot of instinctive baseball knowledge to the job, but I don't think he's done a good job of going back and researching why the Cubs have become the way they are and what needs to be fixed. For instance, I don't think that he knows how the Cubs won in 1984 with a balanced offense, with speed at the top. Remember the daily double, Ryne Sandberg and Bobby Dernier.
Sure.
And power in the middle and a really balanced pitching staff. Of course, a lot of that is elemental, but Lou has never been part of the Chicago experience, and I think that's the little thing that's lacking there. And also, again, he would criticize me for asking cerebral questions such as, how do you know when a team is emotionally ready to win? Well, it's obvious the Cubs last October were not emotionally ready to play at all. They were scared. That's an emotion, if anything.
Yeah.
And that's why Lou has been reading some sports psychology books by Tony Dungy and John Wooden.
Yeah, for all the good that happened last season, why did it fall apart in the playoffs against the Dodgers? And what have the Cubs done to ensure themselves some playoff success finally?
They had the worst month of the entire year in September. Although they won 97 games, their performance really tailed off, starting with a series at the end of August against the Phillies, when the Cubs hitters scored just 7 runs in 4 games against the Phillies starting pitchers and splitting the series. They went into a big hitting slump for the next 2 weeks after that. Then they had one good week of baseball that was sparked by Carlos Zambrano's no-hitter in Milwaukee. Then they clinched the division against the Cardinals, and then Lou rested all his players, or did a rotation of resting his players, and there was some internal second-guessing, Paxton,